Hey, what's happening, Baltimore Ravens fans? Welcome back to the Bald Perspective. On your way in, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you've never subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk. So, things in Baltimore seem to be quiet and noisy at the same time. The things that are quiet, contract talks as it pertains to advancements. Things that seem to be noisy, contract talks as it pertains to advancement. You see, there has been some speculation surrounding Lamar Jackson contract talks. Will it get done? Will it not get done? What's the holdup? Who's in the way? Does it require an agent? Is that still a problem? All of those kind of things. How much money is Lamar Jackson asking for? How much money does Lamar Jackson deserve? How much money do the Baltimore Ravens feel comfortable allotting to Lamar Jackson? All of those are huge question marks as we enter the 2026 free agency period. Now, we understand that Lamar Jackson is not a free agent. We understand that it's beneficial for the Baltimore Ravens to do a longer extension. But like owner Steve Bisciotti said, hey, we got to fix for that. If there's not a contract done, we'll just flip that money into void years, which, as last reported, it could turn into roughly $38 million. That's a lot of cash to free up for the Baltimore Ravens to go to work with in free agency. In fact, with the estimated 22 million plus that 38 million, which I think has to be converted or will be converted, I might say, by the ninth, that gives the Baltimore Ravens $60 million to work with. And that's not a Marlon Humphrey waiver included in that. That's not a potential reworking or extension for Roquan Smith. None of that. That's just available cap space and a Lamar Jackson restructure. And so the Baltimore Ravens can still go into free agency and do some work. But here's the other question, the major questions. Do the Baltimore Ravens allot roughly one third of that 60 million potentially available to them to Tyler Linderbaum? Do the Baltimore Ravens have any hope of retaining Isaiah Likely? What will the Baltimore Ravens do with their own free agents outside of those names? Will they bring back DeAndre Hopkins? Will they be able to retain Draymond Jones? Is he going to be a highly sought out commodity? What will they do with Chidobe Awuzie? Tons and tons and tons of questions about what the Baltimore Ravens will and will not do, what's beneficial and what's not beneficial for them in free agency. So here's the deal. Let's talk about Tyler Lindenbaum. Once again, he's a hot topic. I think that Tyler Linderbaum is going to get 24 to 25 million dollars offered to him, especially from one of those teams who are in a rebuild and have an understanding that a rebuild starts with two pieces, the trenches and the QB. I think that one of the teams that I believe is going to be in the works for Tyler Linderbaum is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. If I'm remembering correctly, they have an estimated $92 million in cap space. That's easy money to bring in a 25-year-old center and plug him in the middle of their offensive line. Why would the Raiders be a prime fit for Tyler Lindenbaum? Because he's smart, young, and when you have a rookie quarterback, because all signs point to the Raiders taking Fernando Mendoza, you want somebody who can set the protection up front and take some of that responsibility off of the young QB. So I think that the Raiders probably are going to be a leading candidate because if they allot 24, $25 million to Tyler Lindenbaum, that's still going to leave them roughly 58 million. And of course, we understand they have a lot of work to do in that building, whether they keep Max Crosby or not. And so I think that that may be where he's headed. Maybe a New England, maybe a New York Giants, but I believe the Oakland Raiders are going to be the team that pursues him most aggressively. And so I think that as we get closer and closer to March 9th, I think that moves Tyler Lindenbaum closer and closer to leaving the Baltimore Ravens, right? And so then that moves our attention over to Isaiah Likely. Now, there has been some reports that Isaiah Likely's market may not be what was expected, or the truth may be what he expected it to be. Isaiah Likely has not yet been a true number one tight end, the lead guy in that room, because he's consistently played second fiddle to Mark Andrews. Now, most of the time when he's been called upon, he's delivered. He's had some missteps, he's had some drop balls, and especially this year having the injury to start the season, he never seemed to really find his footing in the 2025 season, which definitely is going to slow his ability to make more money. But let's be clear. Let's stop the delusion in Baltimore. Even if Isaiah Likely doesn't get 13, 14, 15 million, probably what he is asking for, there is no way he's returning to Baltimore. And I'm going to tell you why. It does not make business sense for Isaiah Likely. It does not make money sense for Isaiah Likely. You see, if he comes back, he is going to be partnered again with Mark Andrews. And because of the money that has already been allotted to Mark Andrews, he's going to essentially be what? The second fiddle once again. Let's go further. Okay. Now, I've heard the commentary, I've heard the comments, I've heard the thought logic or illogic that because the Baltimore Ravens can get off of Mark Andrews' contract next year, then that would, if they resign Isaiah Likely, that would open the door for him to be the number one tight end. Now, from a player context, from an Isaiah Likely perspective, that makes absolutely no sense because that doesn't put me in a better position to increase my earning potential if I'm still sharing the field, not being the lead guy for one more season. Isaiah Likely could literally take a 2-year deal from another team, even if it's $8 to $9 million, $8 to $10 million. And in 2 years, when he'll only be 27 years old, if he proves himself after being the lead guy, now he can get probably his major deal. There is no major deal coming for Isaiah Likely being partnered with Mark Andrews. So it just doesn't make player sense to return to the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's a delusional thought to think that he would even want to return. It's not about Lamar Jackson. It's not about playing with Lamar Jackson. It's not about more opportunity. It's what has been seen and done in Baltimore is that even when he filled in for Mark Andrews, under the old regime, I might add, when he's filled in nicely for Mark Andrews, when Mark Andrews has come back to the field, Isaiah Likely has consistently been slid back to the number 2 slot. And let's be clear, I've definitely seen the comments that when Isaiah Likely had his chance, he didn't deliver. Let's talk plain. This season, offensively, nobody delivered. Random reasons why, valid reasons why, but nobody delivered with the exception of Zay Flowers offensively. And so I don't think that is any indication on what Isaiah Likely is or isn't. Somebody's going to open a wallet. Somebody who needs a tight end is going to write him a check. And if I am Isaiah Likely, I take a short-term 2-year deal so that I can increase my potential to earn in a couple of seasons. That's what I would do. So I do not think that Isaiah Likely returns to Baltimore. So that's Tyler Linderbaum. That's Isaiah Likely. So here's a big question. Who's our third most important free agent? When I really think about it, I don't think it's DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know if it's Draymond Jones, but it may be being that he would be the only veteran um, edge rusher that we still will be able to retain. I think you have to choose between him and Calvin Noy, if you're going to choose between one of the two. Um, and so maybe Draymond Jones, but what is he worth to the Ravens? Is he worth 3 years, 30 million? Is he worth $10 million a year? Is he worth 2 years and 16? Because I think that his market value sits in between 8 and 12. And so you guys let me know, who do you keep? Draymond Jones, who's going to earn a little more than Calvin Noy, or Calvin Noy because he is a stable veteran that the Baltimore Ravens could bring back. Man, got more comments and commentary coming to you guys this week. Lot to cover, a lot to say. So until the next video, I'm out.